You change, you update your record, you update your data, so it stops being 2013 and becomes, let's say, 2017 or a more recent year. So what that does is that it corrects any errors you might have made, because if you're estimating, you're calculating your growth based on 2009 using 2009 prices, and things have really changed a lot, then your calculations might be off. And in most cases for an economy, you might be reporting low numbers because the economy might have jumped much faster than the 5%, the 6% we report every year. So you do a more thorough analysis, and the last time we rebased, we actually became a middle income country. So we stopped becoming the low income country and went to middle income because of that rebasing. Your prices and your GDP really jumped high. So then if your GDP goes high, remember your debt is not changing. If you had a debt of 7 trillion, it is still 7 trillion. But your GDP was 10 trillion. Now you might say your GDP is 12 trillion. So then your debt to GDP ratio comes down. The government is likely to use that as an excuse to actually borrow more money. Because you see now they'll say, we thought we had 70% debt to GDP ratio, but we are at 55, so we can actually borrow more. And that is what they will go back to Parliament with. It also gives investors a bit of confidence, because then when you rebase, it is taken that you've actually done a thorough analysis of the country's growth. Yeah, so then you have more clear information. Even if you take out the rebasing, forget the rebasing, the state of the Kenyan economy is a very fragile economy. We've seen some sectors be hit very hard, and we are really, the GDP growth is really heavily reliant on things like government expenditure and that kind of drivers. So government expenditure and infrastructure development, that is what is driving a lot of the sectors that are thriving. So that means we're very fragile. If the government reduces its expenditure, which it might be forced to make savings here and there, then we might be in problems. As we go to elections, the current government is likely to use the result of the rebasing to say, we actually, as you can see, during our time, the economy actually grew by this much. It actually grew a lot than we thought it had. So we've actually done well. So it's going to be used as a campaign to sort of say, yes, we've grown so much, as you can see from the rebasing. But in real sense, it does not change the current circumstance of the economy, where COVID-19 has depressed quite a number of sectors. Education, hospitality, tourism is still low, and transport and logistics is still affected. So we still are in a fragile space. It does not change how fragile the scenario is.